Hi everyone, Amelia Kuiken, buyer's agent at MELIA Property here. Every month I sit down with a different specialist and talk all things property. This month I've got Keith Saunders here from Calibre Advisors.
Good morning.
Based in Toowoomba.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to give us a really brief rundown of who you are and what Calibre does and your love of property?
So fundamentally, I'm a chartered accountant, but been in the industry for over 35 years now, and finding that there's a huge need for advisory services as opposed to tax services, and getting a lot of traction over the last 10 years with all walks of life coming in, and particularly wanting to talk about buying property, investing, first homeowners, or industrial property, all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And it's become a very hot topic, particularly with the property market over the last 5 or 6 years.
It's boomed, hasn't it?
It has. It has. And I see myself now dealing with a couple of different generations of people, and it's interesting how the trends have changed and the affordability's changed over the years.
Mm-hmm. So going to an accountant is the very early stages of buying a property. Do you have any tips that you would like to share? Say you've got someone coming in to see you who is brand new, they don't have an investment property, and they come to you wanting to buy one. How do you approach it? What would you talk about with them?
So you've used the word investment property as opposed to a residential home. So particularly for investment property, it's critical to understand the individual's personal circumstances, so employment, cash flow, domestic situation, is it dual income, children, because that all impacts on their affordability and also their stage of life. Mm-hmm. Young children don't cost anywhere near as much as older children, despite what people think. And where that person is particularly in that part of their life, before you then go, okay, what sort of property are we looking at? And I find this is one of the most interesting parts of the conversation, where people go, oh, we want to buy this. And I say, well, okay, we're doing it for cash flow purposes, i.e. negative gearing, or are we doing it for future capital growth? Which is primarily, to me, the most important part of property investing, is the longer term strategy of growth. A lot of people focus on the now, which is negative gear, I want this, I want that. And I try and talk them through the longer term pattern of how it's going to evolve. Mm-hmm. And quite often that will come back down to affordability. Is it a new build, or are we looking at an existing residential property, or commercial in some cases, for that depreciation write-off. So it's reverse engineering those different scenarios to then look at what options best suit that individual.
Yeah, right. So you're looking down the track. How do they want this property to perform for them? What do they want to gain from it? Not just short term, but long term.
Well, there are massive transactional costs with buying a property, i.e. stamp duty, agents' commissions, buyer's commission. Mm-hmm. And then also on the flip side of selling, you've got commission on the sale of the property, legals, etc. Mm-hmm. So I always say it's a long-term strategy, and it should be 5 to 7 years minimum for property transactions. And I don't know that a lot of people actually think that far ahead. So it's making sure that today's decision is going to be right for them in 5 to 10 years' time. Yeah. One of the biggest hurdles I find is people go, I want to buy a unit. Mm-hmm. Not a massive fan of units, because I think you get much better capital growth out of house and land packages or house and land options. And most people get quite frustrated with the body corp rules and the costs of owning a unit.
Exactly, can be very expensive.
And is it a residential tenant, or is it a holiday let scenario? And there are very different scenarios around that. So again, it's strategizing with people as to what best fits for you and your long-term purpose. Because people get a rush of blood, they go on holidays, let's buy a unit, let's buy a unit. It may not be the best investment decision.
For sure.
For that individual circumstance.
And there is often that lower barrier to entrance, like the cost of purchasing a unit. And they see a unit at a cost that they can afford in a location which is usually in a city, and it seems a lot more, all the positives line up and it seems a lot more like doable for them.
Absolutely.
But in fact, it might not be the best
investment
decision for them.
Yes.
Right. So it's education, isn't it?
Yes.
Sitting down with the client and making sure they understand
and
that.
I guess in some cases, putting the brakes on the decision-making process and just saying, have you really thought through the options of this? Have you really researched that particular market and the options around that particular property? And I don't say units are a bad decision, but the easiest option to buy is a one-bedroom unit in the city.
Yeah.
They build them all day, every day, and quite often you don't get as much capital growth from those as you would other options, like a two-bedder or even a three-bedder if you can afford it. So again, it is just trying to find the best fit for the individual circumstance. And again, a lot of people just think they read something or they hear something, oh, that's what I want to do. Well, no, everybody's circumstances are different. It's a very tailored approach. I think that's a service that you and your business provides for a lot of these clients, would be tailoring that best option for them.
Yeah. Profiling, basically.
Yeah. Profiling
exactly. The client, finding out exactly how they want that property to work for them in the future and making sure they're not buying something that's going to do the complete opposite for them.
And I have seen that happen.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen. New units sold 5 years later for less than what they paid for them.
Yeah.
In inner city.
It's not unusual.
Yeah. So people get a little bit disheartened with the real estate market when those sort of things happen.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And when we're talking about, say, younger buyers, and they don't have a residential property, their principal place of residence yet, and they're looking at an investment. We spoke earlier about the car, the house, the baby. How does it all fit in, and how can somebody who is not quite there in their journey yet, how can they plan for those things ahead?
Again, I quite often do get a lot of young people coming to see me about this strategy, and my general vibe with it is a lot of people don't plan far enough ahead.
Yeah.
And they're going, oh, look, we're going to get married next month or in a couple of months, we want to buy a house. It's like, okay, you should have been thinking about this probably 12, 18 months ago. So it's understanding the lending criteria primarily, and for first home owners, it's, has your partner owned a property before or been involved in a property? Have you been involved? If you do, either of you have, then you struggle with the first home owners rules, grants, getting access to those benefits under that system. So it's understanding that. A lot of people don't position their finances for property acquisition, so it's educating young people, particularly, not to use short-term finance like afterpays and those sort of things. They do appear on your credit record. The banks don't like that.
It's very easy to do.
HEX debts, the banks do take that into consideration now with your lending criteria and your serviceability. It's understanding that when banks do work out your serviceability, it's not the current home loan rate that they use. They will use the current rate plus 2 or 3% on top of that. So they build a buffer into your lending criteria. So it's about maximising your opportunity by having a clean credit record, not having short-term debts, credit cards, car loans, things like that, and then approaching a bank or a broker to actually get a pre-approval in place or understand what that approval process looks like before you go looking.
Yeah.
Because quite often people go, I want to buy this, but when they actually get through to the process with the broker or the bank, they'll find out that they can't afford
It's
it.
not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've wasted a lot of time and energy looking for the wrong property.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So it's just, I guess, getting them to strategise their approach better and understanding all those different issues.
Yeah. Thinking about how it's all going to work well into the future.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
And then positioning themselves for that investment property beyond that.
Which is strategy, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's following the process step by step
Yes.
before you jump into big decisions.
Absolutely. And as I said, you know, the car, the baby, all that sort of stuff impacts dramatically on how you're assessed in the bank size. So
Sure does.
it's get that timeline right.
Yeah.
So maximise your opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Well, to finish up, do you have one tip that you would like to share for investing in property for those who are just getting started?
My one tip is do it sooner rather than later.
Yep.
I'd see too many people that leave property investing or even their first home to later in life when they have these other commitments.
Yeah.
The market, particularly in Australia, and I've witnessed that market over several decades, it never goes backwards.
No, the market waits for no one.
We have unprecedented population growth through immigration, etc. We have a backlog of housing in Australia. Southeast Queensland in particular, where we are, is one of the hottest places in Australia to invest from a growth point of view. I just think the property market in Australia is strong and a really, really good investment, whether it be a home or an investment property for any young couple. And the sooner you get into it, the better.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Keith.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate you agreeing to do this with me. And I'm sure that whether people are just getting started or whether they've been doing this for years, that there'll be plenty of value
absolutely
here for them. So thank you. If people want to get in touch with Calibre Advisors, and what's the best way to do that?
Our office number is the best way to contact us, 0746 888 200.
Cool. I'll put all of the information down in the description for everyone. But otherwise, thank you, and until next month. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.